If Frank Zappa came back to observe the current state of the music industry, I imagine he'd have quite a few choice words to share, delivered with his trademark wit and razor-sharp critical insight. Known for his aversion to conformity, Zappa might find the landscape frustratingly sanitized, with creativity more stifled than ever by an industry that appears increasingly controlled and mechanized. In Zappa's time, he faced his own battles with the establishment, navigating an industry that he felt was already trending toward excessive commercialism and bureaucracy. But today, he'd probably say that the industry's homogenization has reached a level he could scarcely have imagined. Today, algorithms and data-driven marketing play such a significant role in shaping what gets produced, who gets signed, and even what sounds popular. For a creator like Zappa, who saw music as a space for honest experimentation, the idea of creating music to fit a formula designed to go viral might seem absurd and antithetical to art itself. Where once artists might have found an incentive to push boundaries and risk failure in search of something original, today's major labels often prioritize predictability. Many hits follow a narrow set of successful formulas like the 4-chord progression and repetitively catchy hooks. Zappa would likely call out the industry's current reliance on safe bets that chase fleeting trends rather than supporting the eccentric, the innovative, or the challenging. Zappa's social commentary could turn a spotlight on how much success is measured in streams, follows, and likes, metrics that have made it easier to commodify music as content rather than as art. He might liken it to a conveyor belt churning out earworms built to please, but lacking the soul or subversive edge of past eras. The industry's obsession with short-term popularity often rewards artists who fit neatly into predefined categories, leaving less room for those who want to explore strange new sounds or confront social issues with real grit. He might also observe that while modern music production technology offers unprecedented creative tools, they're often used to smooth out imperfections rather than explore new textures or express real emotion. Auto-tune, quantized beats, and heavily processed vocals create a polished veneer, but at the cost of authenticity. Zappa would likely argue that imperfections are what make music human, and they're essential to true artistic expression. He'd probably be saddened to see how conformity is extended even to the very message of the music. Much of today's popular music, he might argue, steers away from deep social criticism, opting instead for lyrics that are easy to digest and universally marketable. For Zappa, music was a vehicle for examining society, tackling uncomfortable truths and defying norms. He might ask, well, Frank, why don't you ask those pondering questions?
Sure thing, Norm. Where's the rebellion? Where's the satire? Where are the bold artistic statements?
Yet Zappa would likely acknowledge that the desire for authenticity, creativity, and originality is still alive. He'd likely find solace in the countless indie artists creating unique, thought-provoking music outside of the industry's mainstream machine. In these creators, he might see a glimmer of the rebellious spirit he championed. With the rise of the internet, artists now have access to independent platforms that allow them to release and distribute music on their own terms, even if they don't reach the same level of visibility as mainstream acts. If Zappa could give advice to today's musicians, he'd probably urge them to avoid the seduction of trends and popularity metrics, to remember that true artistry comes from pursuing the unexpected and embracing the imperfections. He'd likely encourage them to challenge norms, push boundaries, and stay committed to making music that feels real, music that speaks to the human condition rather than pandering to the charts. In a world that seems to have doubled down on the exact forces he fought against, Frank Zappa's voice would remind us all that creativity, innovation, and above all, honesty are the heart of meaningful music. He might conclude by pointing out that while technology and trends may evolve, the role of the artist is timeless, to hold a mirror to society, to provoke thought, and to create something genuine, no matter how uncomfortable or unpopular it might be.